Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning back in to ASStures Logic. Gotta talk about LeBron again. He's back on his stuff. Well, he never was off it, but he's really back on it now. So over the last few weeks, if you all been watching, LeBron's been at it again. Basically, what LeBron's been doing is just been trying to build himself up more and more with his fans, interjecting all these new ideas and new concepts over this whole GOAT debate of how we should look at it based on this and that, which a lot of it's already been debunked by yours truly. But we're going to get into it again and get a little more in depth and trying to figure out what's going on in some grown-ass billionaire man's head. Thanks, everybody, for all your support, all your follows, all your clicks, all your likes. Please do me a favor and hit the like button on this video. Again, thank you for your support. Let's get into it. So what's up with y'all's boy? I mean, can y'all talk to him? Do a wellness check on his psyche, on his ego, because your boy is getting worse. He looking senile. He looking like the last two presidents. He losing his mind.
At the end of the day, all the people that was rooting on me to fail, at the end of the day, they got to wake up tomorrow and have the same life that they had before they woke up today. They got the same personal problems that they had today. And I'm gonna continue to live the way I want to live and continue to do the things that I want to do with me and my family and be happy with that. So, we got to get back to the real world at some point.
So he went from that mindset to now slapping lawsuits on people for making comedic AI videos. Not AI videos, depicting him in a crime or nothing like that. Just a comedic AI video of him having a baby. Somehow that is defamation. I don't know. I've seen worse done to other people, but he's always crying about something. The biggest thing about LeBron, man, is he does it to himself. His behavior is like childlike in a lot of ways. For example, shooting out there with his son, talking about, you can call me the GOAT, on this podcast about we can call him the GOAT. Chase this GOAT thing as a Lakers fan. How y'all feel with him working out with the Clippers logo in the background? Because he's salty because he didn't get the extension and they signed Luka and just told him straight to his face that it's Luka's team.
You need to go home. You drunk on that King Kong.
You drunk on yourself. You talking to me?
I done told you! Take your drunk ass home!
He's always got some kind of crazy reaction going on or something. Why is your boy so desperate to paint a legacy for himself that puts him on top of everybody? So have you all seen the commercial?
They called him the chosen one. He carried the weight of every expectation on his shoulders. But he never broke.
Wrong.
We were all witnesses. Every rival was defeated.
Huh?
Every idol was destroyed.
Like, what are you still playing for?
He took the crown and kept it.
Hold on. First of all, you don't keep shit, all right? You don't keep a motherfucking thing, all right?
He's a 4-time NBA champion, 2-time league MVP, the 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP.
Behold the greatness. He is the forever king.
Are you serious right now, bruh?
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
So how many lies was told in that ad? Exceeded expectations? 20 plus years? I'm gonna tell the truth. When LeBron first came into the league, I was rooting for him. I was thinking that he was gonna get there and he was gonna be that dude. If you want to talk about him exceeding expectations, well, if he met and exceeded expectations, he would have about 7 or 8 championships and like 6 MVPs by now. And at least 6 finals MVPs. You sitting at 4 and 6 with 4 finals MVPs, 4 regular season MVPs. How's that exceeding expectations? Like most of us OGs have watched him and watched his whole career, expected him to surpass Mike in championships and MVPs and all that. But then you got his fans here to try to make like these stats are what matter most. I'll give you a sales analogy. Okay, for example, people talk about when they go to buy something, they want to know about its price. Okay, but you making payments, right? Say you want to finance it. The bottom line can be what it can be, but the issue is If you're looking at something that's $10,000 and you say, well, I don't want to pay $10,000 for it, I want to pay $8,000. I can sell it to you for $8,000, but if your payment is $500 a month and you trying to be at $300, how does that help you? What does it matter how big the number is at the end if it's not going to suit what it is that you're trying to do? So what does it matter how big the number is at the end if the payment don't come out right? So if I sell it to you for $8,000, are you willing to pay $500 a month? Oh, no, I ain't gonna do it. Okay. So then the end total stat really isn't what's most important. What's most important is how it's structured, not that last number itself. 50,000 points, if he gets there, when he gets there, 50,000 points ain't gonna mean as much if you ain't got the championship legacy to back it. It doesn't hold the same weight. And that's what these new NBA fans don't understand. It's like I've always said, his biggest fans are the ones who either A, hated Jordan, even the old niggas. The old niggas that are his super fans, they hated Mike back in the day because he was always putting their team out, or B, share his mentality. That's who his fans are. They share his entitled, selfish, brattish, childlike mentality. Competition argument. I already debunked this in the video before, but I'm gonna show you right now.
Average win percentage amongst finals opponents, 74.6 to 69.5 in favor of Jordan.
You want to talk about competition and talk about who had who and what had what. We already know that LeBron has played with more Hall of Famers. How you can plug and play LeBron and put him on any team and win. How'd that work out with Westbrook? Would you all be willing to bet your car that LeBron could take Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, Bobby Hansen, Stacey King, Judd Bushler, Will Perdue? You think he could take all them guys and win at the level that Mike won with him? We know Pippen, Robin, and Ron Harper in that mix, right? Tony Kukoc as well. But you gonna sit here and tell me that you give LeBron those players that Mike had in his early years, Brad Sellers, Dave Corzine, Orlando Woolridge, Dennis Hobson, you plug LeBron in there and he's gonna take those guys as far as Mike took them? You willing to bet your car on it? The bubble championship. LeBron fans try to put this huge amount of credibility on the bubble championship because of circumstances. The biggest problem with the circumstances is that they didn't have to endure what all the other teams before them had to endure during their finals runs. They didn't have to go through the travel and the opponent's arenas and the pressures that those things would have put on a finals run. The bubble was basically basketball camp. Y'all playing golf, y'all chilling, eating, ain't got to worry about your kids being in your ear, ain't got to worry about the woman being in your ear, none of that stuff. All you got to do is focus on ball. Now, how do you sit up here and say that that is one of the most difficult championships there was to win? So some of y'all may not remember this, but I do. When Rondo got on First Take and said himself, even his own teammates said it was easier. When the team that you faced in the finals in Miami was not a comparable matchup for the Lakers. We all know this. That's why it doesn't hold the same weight. None of the other teams before got that kind of a luxury during the playoff run. They chilling, playing golf, making coffee and shit. One of the biggest stories about the bubble was Jimmy Butler and his taste for coffee. So explain to me how that ends up being a leading running narrative during a playoff run. That's all I'm saying, man. Y'all need to stop. Just stop.
And while I'm thinking about it, something that I find hilarious, when people try to talk about Jordan's years in Washington and talk about how he was trash when he was averaging all-star numbers, which I think is funny. But there's a funny link here, because let's talk about Larry Hughes for a second. Okay, so Larry Hughes, y'all LeBron fans always want to bring up, well, Jordan didn't win until Pippen got there. Well, LeBron didn't even make the playoffs until Larry Hughes got there, who averaged a modest 15 points a game, but he was a good defender. And he helped him get to the finals in 2007 against the Spurs. Now, let's rewind a second and go back to 2002-2003, where Larry Hughes was Michael Jordan's teammate, and they won 37 games that year. When the only teammates he had besides Larry Hughes that was worth anything was Jerry Stackhouse, Christian Laettner, Tyronn Lue, and Brendan Haywood. Now, when we flip that and we take a look at a 38-year-old LeBron in 21-22, when he had AD, Westbrook, Carmelo, Rondo, Dwight Howard, Malik Monk, he only won 33 games with that bunch. You want to talk about Jordan being washed up in Washington? How was he able to win 4 more games than LeBron was able to win with all that help?
You know, these aren't jokes, these are thoughts, these are things that make you say,
I truly feel that you got to recommit and sign that contract with yourself every so often. Like, all right, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight. And, you know what I'm saying? So it's a contract I feel like you got to have with yourself, too, in order for you to be a, you know, great ball player or to have a long career. That's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years.
So these two clown-ass niggas talking about dedication. See, this is what pisses me off about this generation of ball players and the guys who the younger players would listen to, like these two jacks. Because previously in this conversation, they were talking about looking at the players that come before them and learning from them and this and that and the other, and acting like they had some sort of level of respect for the OGs. But then you turn around and bring up baseball, taking a shot at Mike, which is funny because you know the circumstances. Everybody knows the circumstances of why Mike retired in '93 anyway. It didn't have nothing to do with dedication. He had lost his best friend. His dad was murdered. So I give more credibility to what Mike did when he retired, because he could have went off to some island or something and stayed there for a year, or, you know, came back, spent some time with family and not did nothing. But as therapy, what does Jordan do to pay homage to his father? He goes and returns to a sport that he played when he was a kid by retraining his body and dedicating himself to another fucking sport, where he actually had 50 RBIs in that year he played baseball. Rededicated himself to basketball and retrained his body, unwound all that he'd done to his body for baseball, and then came back and returned to the same level of dominance he had before he left. And you clown motherfuckers ought to be sore, because we got 40 seasons between the two of you. Get ready to be 41 and 42. In terms of championships and MVPs, both of y'all's careers combined add up to what he did in 13. It got nerve enough to take a stab at somebody talking about dedication. I mean, KD got a little room to talk because he ain't always faking injuries. The nigga that's laughing the hardest between all of them, yeah, he's king, all right. King of load management and the king of faking injuries so he can rest up for the playoffs. The last month and a half of every season, and he wants to be the one sitting up there cackling the loudest. That's the mindset of a LeBron fan. That's the mindset of him. So let's talk about legacy. We're going to talk about Hall of Famers denied. Players that they met in the playoffs, at least in the conference finals and beyond. Players that had not yet won a championship, or players that didn't win a championship until after you were gone. Players that they kept from getting a ring. Now, in order to be fair to LeBron, because he is still playing, there's an asterisk by the players who have a Hall of Fame trajectory. Players that LeBron faced at certain points in his career in the playoffs that are on this list are players that were relatively young. For the most part, on average, they were either in their 5th season or lower. All those Eastern Conference semifinals and finals that he played against Paul George, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they were all young. When he met OKC in 2012 in the finals, they were all young. Even though these players have Hall of Fame trajectory, what they were when he faced them at that time were not what they are now. When we look at Jordan's side here, we see Barkley, Ewing, Carmelo, and John Stockton, who are all members of the Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled by most accounts and by most opinions. They were all established. The only other Hall of Famers that got rings at Jordan's expense that didn't have one already were the Bad Boy Pistons, which were Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, and Adrian Dantley.
On Jordan's side, none of those players got their rings at his expense. The difference between Jordan's dominance and LeBron's so-called dominance, they got their rings on his watch, at his expense, and in a few cases head-to-head. If this graphic right here doesn't show you the difference between these two guys, I don't know what will. Wilt Chamberlain didn't use his era as an excuse as to why he didn't win more rings. Larry Bird never used his era as an excuse as to why he didn't win more rings. Dr. J never used his era as an excuse as to why he didn't win more rings. Jerry West, even though he suffered many losses, he went to 9 finals, only won 1, but he never once used his era as an excuse as to why he didn't win more rings. You LeBron people are the only ones that do that shit. It's the most ridiculous fucking argument ever was. If you don't subscribe to any of the other statistical and factual information that breaks down the debate between these two, this one graphic ought to tell you enough. When it comes to legacy, this one graphic here tells it all. Look how many Hall of Famers that Mike kept from getting the ring. And look at how many Hall of Famers got their rings on LeBron's watch. There should be no more evidence that needs to be shown to prove this point. The difference between these two players. Whichever one you believe, which one is the GOAT, which one ain't, that's a matter of opinion. But the fact of who's got the stronger legacy, this is a fact.
He's got an ongoing soap opera all the time. Every time somebody says something about him, there's always some pushback from his team. Every time. It never fails. How you that insecure, bro? How you got all this money and got all this notoriety and you that damn insecure to where you got to go sue people and you a billionaire yourself? Man, that's what y'all don't understand, man. It's the way he moves. He does weak shit. This is the part that everybody seems to miss. Or at least his fans seem to want to miss. He's oily than a motherfucker. Yeah, I call him oily because oil is the one thing that you can't get out your clothes. And that's his effect on the league. He done greased up the league. It's oily as hell now. The league got an oil stain on it that it can't get out. Because of him and because of the progression of the things that he's done and the moves that he's made over the years that have in some ways helped empower players, but it's empowered them too much to where it's detrimental to the league. At the end of the day, my biggest problem with him, man, is that he's cheated the game. All the player moves, all the trades, all the coaches being ousted, all that stuff, all he did was basically manufacture his career. His Hall of Fame bus will have a Hasbro sticker on the bottom of it. Maybe Mattel, I don't know. Because he manufactured this whole thing and still didn't accomplish what he ultimately wanted to accomplish, to surpass Jordan in the conversation of being greatest of all time. He didn't surpass it. He didn't do it. And part of the reason is because he's selfish. The rifts that he had with Cleveland when he was trying to, put his boys on and had his boys all up in the team facility and all up in the middle of everything that was going on, all things Cleveland. And then you get the decision to collapse in 2011 and how he never took any accountability for that and had one of his own teammates who was the champion before he played with LeBron call him out for quitting. It didn't nobody from the locker room defend none of it. It was already a sentiment that had been echoed in that locker room before Eddie House even said it. He rarely shows humility. When he does show humility, it seems like it's forced, seems like it's fake, and it usually comes after being criticized for not showing humility. I mean, there's something to be said about things being accomplished organically versus situations being manipulated so that you can put yourself in position to be successful. The journey is what's most important. It's how you get there and what it took to get there and the adversity that you went through to get there. But when you shortcut adversity to give yourself an advantage and then you turn out not to be as successful as the guy you chasing, well, you gonna get clowned on. Especially if you're gonna sit up here and try to say that people should view you and look at you as being above the person who was more successful than you. And that's why he's never gonna have the respect of a lot of other players.
It's a shame LeBron didn't have his dad around or somebody to kind of, steer him on the right path, steered him in the right direction so that he wouldn't grow up to have a mentality that would ultimately lead to him cheating the game. I wonder what that would have been like.
LeBron, son, if you betray a teammate and get him traded, in time, his hurt feelings will heal. And later on, you can apologize to that man. If you bus ride a coach, later on, that coach can get rehired or your team can buy him out for fair value. But if you cut and run, there is no later on. There's no way to repair it. There's no way to make it right with them or their fans. Those seasons are gone forever. It's hard to come back from that. Coach, that player you're holding is my son. My son. I told an OG at the park that I would instill in him integrity and respect for the game, no matter what, even if it turned him against me. I'm willing to risk it all here today for my boy. Because I love him that much. Do you love him? All I want is to give him something a lot of your players never had. a father. You said out there, since I brought him to you, you owed me. All I want is my boy.